Okay, you're on, sir.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Finance Committee on January 19th, 2021 at approximately 5 p.m. Can I have a roll call, please?
You sure can. Counselor Abeta,
Here.
Counselor Villarreal,
Present.
Counselor Romero Worth,
I'm here.
Counselor Lindell,
Yes.
and Counselor Cassett Sanchez.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. The next item is approval of the agenda. Ms. McCoy, under the agenda, we were going to have a Midtown Finance update, but I think all of us received an email that there is going to be a meeting on the 21st, where I think a lot of this same information is going to be covered. So I think we will hold off on that presentation if that's okay with you.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, are there other changes to the agenda from staff?
No other changes at this time.
Okay, any changes from the committee? Can I have a motion regarding the agenda?
Move to approve
As amended. Second.
as amended.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can I have a roll call, please?
I'll go ahead and do the roll call. Chair Ramon Tiger Abeta,
Yes.
Councillor Signe Lindell,
Yep.
Councillor Cassett Sanchez,
Yes.
Councillor Romero Worth,
Yes.
Councillor Rene Villarreal.
Yes.
Okay, the next item is approval of the consent agenda. Are there items that the committee want to pull off the consent calendar? Councilwoman Villarreal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Item F is in Frank, please.
Okay. Item F. Anything else, Councilwoman? Any other items? Can I have a motion regarding the consent calendar?
Move
Move to approve as amended.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and that would be the approval of all the items with the exception of item F. Can I have a roll call, please?
Absolutely. Counselor Abeta,
Yes.
Counselor Villarreal,
Yes.
Counselor Romero Worth,
Yes.
Counselor Lindell,
Yes.
and Counselor Cassett Sanchez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so that brings us to approval of the minutes, and the minutes that we have are for the Finance Committee meeting of January 12th, 2021. Are there any changes from staff?
No changes.
Okay, changes from the committee. Can I have a motion regarding the minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, can I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Counselor Abeta,
Yes.
Counselor Villarreal,
Yes.
Counselor Romero Worth,
Yes.
Counselor Lindell,
Yes.
and Counselor Cassett Sanchez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so that brings us to presentations, item 6. 6A is a staff recognition. Ms. McCoy.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, councilors, we'd like to recognize members of our staff that have gone above and beyond and have for the finance department and also for the city. This past year has been especially challenging, where we've had to do 3 different budgets and be able to very rapidly expend close to $20 million in federal CARES money. So we have chosen a person from our staff that has consistently put in long hours, gone above and beyond for our staff to be able to be very flexible as we've dealt with multiple crises in the last year. So for that, I'm going to turn over the presentation to Alexis Lotero. The staff that we're recognizing tonight is Andy Hopkins. Many of you are familiar with Andy from our budget presentations. He's worked with the city for many years. Alexis Lotero is his supervisor, so I'm going to turn it over to her at this time to say a few words about our exceptional staff.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You brought up the 3 budgets, and this really illustrates what happened in doing those 3 budgets. When we got to the end in July, I think that Andy and I were there for 2 solid weeks till 10 or 11 o'clock at night. So I applaud him for his dedication and his support and getting up the next morning and answering questions and continuing to help the rest of the city staff. The other outstanding issue is the CARES funding, because we had it was done within a very short time frame. And as we could see that we needed to maybe move money around, which we did several times, Andy was an integral part of that process. So I really want him to understand how appreciated he is by staff and by the leadership.
Thank you, Alexis. And Andy, yes, I just want to say that it's been my experience that anytime we have a question or don't understand something and you're called upon to give us the answer, you not only have the answer, but you also explain it in a way so that it makes sense and is easy for those of us who aren't as versed in finance and budget as you all in finance. So I know I've always, as the chair, appreciated that about you. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, and thank you all very much.
All right.
And thank you, Alexis.
Keep up
Thank
the
you,
good work.
Andy.
Thank you. Okay, so that brings us to the item that was pulled off of the consent calendar. Item F is a request for approval of amendment number 3 to the Mountain River 4-year contract, adding additional funding through June 30th, 2021 in the amount of $350,000. Councilwoman Villarreal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And also thank you to Director Jones. He did reach out to me in December and we never got to connect. So I appreciate that he wanted to make sure that I fully understood this next amendment round for Mountain River Consulting. And I scrutinized it at the first 6 months that we were considering the amount for this particular contract. And in the packet material, I didn't see an explanation so much. I mean, there was a background summary in terms of the amounts, but I was wondering if someone from staff could give us a summary of what has been accomplished thus far in this last 6 months. And then what are the next 6 months going to entail for this contract? I mean, I know you did list the scope of work, but if you could just explain what has been accomplished this last 6 months.
Yeah, absolutely, Councillor, Chairman. So Mountain River is our ITT go-to. We don't have anybody on staff with the City of Santa Fe. So any reports, any issues that we have with the billing system, it really is Mountain River that actually researches and looks at to see what might be going on with that. They are an integral part of our billing each week. So they do the backup. They assist us with any issues that we have with the billing that happens every Thursday. So it's not just what they've accomplished, it's what they actually do for us on a day-to-day basis. We are hopefully moving forward into a new billing system. So they run audit reports for us. They give us the information that we need to look at accounts, to make sure that those accounts are correct and accurate. So again, it's a day-to-day operational process that happens. Mountain River also, we are currently going through an audit for utility billing. And Mountain River has given history and reports to the audit third-party audit company on anything that's been asked for. They also assist us with the write-off, the estimated write-off of accounts that we need to bring to the council for approval. So it's really just a day-to-day process of what they handle for us. I'm trying to think because I use them for everything. Our cashiering system, they assist with the finance department in closing the books for the fiscal year. They've assisted with any information that Mary McCoy and her team needs, Deborah Harris needs to close out all of our fiscal years, but of course the last 2 fiscal years since finance, the finance duties. Gosh, I'm trying to think of everything else. They will be the administrator, the project administrators for us moving forward to a new billing system. So we will need to go out for an RFP. So I guess I really can't say that they may be the company come July 1st, but we will be going out for an RFP since the contract ends now June 30th for hopefully, assistance with the billing with the current system, and then the move, hopefully if approved, to the new billing system. I hope that answers some of the questions, but if not, please let me know.
Thank you, Mr. Jimenez. I guess what I was, that was helpful. And I didn't realize it was also a daily, weekly aspect that they're supporting us. So I guess my question is, as we move forward, and it's great to have this kind of support from a consulting contract, I'm just curious how we then start moving into creating sustainability for our own staff so that we can get away from contracts and we can start setting up systems and staff so that they're cross-trained and they would be able to do this kind of work into the future. So we're not relying on contracts forever.
Yeah, absolutely, Counselor. We have sent an ITT individual with the City of Santa Fe to trainings for the new billing system. So I'm hoping to just kind of continue that and make sure that ITT has what they need either from us or an additional employee if need be for that assistance so that we can potentially move away from contracts. Unfortunately, with the current AS400 billing system that we have, the UCIS system, it's 21 years old. And I know that Manuel Gonzalez has concerns, and to find an individual that understands that system or the current system that we have is unfortunately not really able to be filled. It is moving towards an obsolete kind of platform. But we do have individuals that work for IT now that we will hopefully get trained up and keep them involved in the process as we move to a new billing system. The IT work, I don't currently and don't foresee really having an individual within the utility billing division for strictly IT. We will still unfortunately need some assistance with the IT department. And if they don't have the capability, the employees, the bandwidth for those types of issues, then unfortunately there may still be some lingering contract out there for just that purpose. The conversion from an old system to a new system, and then hopefully the conversion from the new system to get an IT employee with the city up to speed so that we can rely on employees rather than outside contractors.
Yeah, it sounds like IT, but within the utilities department, not necessarily within like IT, kind of their direction. I think it'd be something related to what you all do. And in addition, you're talking about audit. So doesn't that also incorporate how we utilize our finance team and staff
Well,
in the future, I guess?
finance about 2 years ago pushed all of the finance issues back to each department. So yes, the finance department is there and we absolutely use their knowledge and assistance when need be. But my understanding is the finances does need to stay within the division. ITT is a little bit different. We don't have a position for IT within the utility billing. It would be an expansion if that's the direction that we need to go to. But I don't know really if I would have 40 or 80 hours worth of work related to IT
Right.
for justifying a full-time position. I could be wrong.
I'm thinking more like a liaison. And I guess that's how I also see finance too, because sure, they were separated so that you all end up doing your own kind of financial support. However, I just see that like audit reports, isn't that something that finance would do also?
Well, finance doesn't
Mr. Chair, Counselor, I can speak to that. The year-end close process, the day-to-day activities in the year-end close process that Ms. Jimenez did refer to earlier is part of the day-to-day operations that the utility billing division does take care of. In addition to that, our staff does, review the reconciliations that are done at the end of the fiscal year. The second piece of the audit that Ms. Jimenez was referring to is actually an internal audit. Every year, the council approves an internal audit budget. A few years ago, the internal audit function was outsourced based on the results of the McCard report. And so the firm that has conducted the internal audit work for this year is REDW. So that's the audit firm that Ms. Jimenez was referring to earlier, where Mountain River has and the Mountain River staff have been critical in providing the information, reviewing systems access, processes, procedures for the utility billing system.
So Mountain River Consulting then works with that internal auditing team as well? Like they are sharing information? Is that how it works?
Mr. Chair, Counselor, when either the external auditors or the internal audit firm request any information, of course, we would like to coordinate with the city staff or the contractors who are working in that particular subject area, no matter where the internal audit is focused for any particular year. So in the last few months, Karen Fiorina from Mountain River has been providing data and reports, as well as the utility billing staff, and information and knowledge sharing on how to use the system and what their policies are and what their procedures are.
So how many people are on the Mountain River team?
We have 4 that can do different types of requests. Karen Fiorina is our main contact, but there are 3 additional individuals, so 4 total that we may reach out and use their assistance.
Yeah, I guess I appreciate that we have them for our support, and it sounds like they do a lot and are integral in actually communicating with not just our utility billing staff, but connected to finance, et cetera. I'm just hoping that as we move forward, we really start thinking about how we wean ourselves off of big contracts like this and create an infrastructure internally so that there's not only cross-training, but there's communication between various departments that are connected to the billing system, and especially as it gets updated. So I guess I just really want you all to consider thinking about this. I'll keep asking about it, how we can transition and support ourselves into, maybe eventually it is a full-time person, but I guess I'm just wanting us to create the capacity internally for your team.
Absolutely. We will definitely look at that. The 14-month plan for the upgrade to a different billing system does kind of tie our hands, at least for the next potential 14 months, if that's approved in the next couple of meetings. But yes, absolutely. I would love to be able to have the expertise in-house, run the reports that we need. It goes a little bit faster. You know, there's still kind of a request time and then a wait for the report to get back to us. So yeah, absolutely. I would love to have a little bit faster communication, you know, within the own division, let alone with IT staff.
Right.
Yep.
So that's what the plan, 14 months, you think this will take to complete?
The
Great.
projection for a new billing system is 14 months. And hopefully we will have all of the legal issues taken care of in the next, I'm hoping, couple of weeks so that I can bring it forward to utilities, finance, and council, and hopefully get started in March, April kind of timeframe, and then 14 months from there. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Jimenez, and I yield the floor. Thanks.
Okay, Councilwoman Lindell.
Thanks. My questions were pretty much like Counselor Villarreal's. I just, for the amount of money that we pay these folks, I think that we could probably hire a full-time person, and whether they had 40 hours of work in this particular arena or we needed, I'm sure they could help out in some other way, but I think we're paying them, this consultant, way more than what we would pay a full-time employee if we could find the full-time employee that has this skill set or is willing to develop this skill set. I mean, I would think that we would have someone on our staff that would be interested in developing this skill set. It's clearly needed. Clearly pays pretty good. So, you know, shake the trees over there, Nancy. See if someone doesn't want to learn how to do this. It looks like it would be a pretty good job to me. So those are my comments on it. We've gone round and round on this before. It's painful for me to pay a consultant this much money over a long period of time. But I'm going to support it. I just would like to see it get changed in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, anything else from the committee? Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? I think Councilor Endow, was that a second?
Yes, it was.
Okay, can I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Counselor Lindell,
Yes.
Counselor Cassett Sanchez,
Yes.
Counselor Romero Worth,
Yes.
Counselor Villarreal,
Yes.
and Counselor Beta.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so then we are on item 8, which is matters from staff. Ms. McCoy.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I do have a brief update on the November GRT. So the November GRT has come in from the Taxation and Revenue Department at 7.9 million. This is compared to November of 2019. So this is FY20 of 9.5 million. That's a 1.6 million decrease or 17%. Keep in mind, we did have a 2-week pretty hard shutdown in November ahead of Thanksgiving, as issued by the governor as part of her public health order. So this has been the largest month comparison to the previous year, the largest decline so far. So this is, again, concerning that we keep the same trend and the same pattern that we have seen in other months. So far, year to date, we have seen a decrease of 10.9 million in GRT. over as compared to last year. So that's 20%. We're keeping right on that trend of the decline of 20%. So
And that's where we budgeted around 20%, right?
yes, that is correct. So we're keeping on that pattern for the first half of the year. We do have higher expectations as the vaccines are rolled out now in 2021, and potential opportunities to be lifted out of the red zone into the yellow zone, and continued opening up of our economy, different sectors, different percentages, as we continue to move towards our target of the green zone.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anything else, Ms. McCoy, under matters from staff?
Mr. Chair, not at this time.
Okay, matters from the committee. Okay, matters from the chair. I don't have anything. Our next meeting is February 1st, 2021. So we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.